Welcome, everybody. My name is Sandra Goldtree, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. And first, I want to congratulate and welcome each and every one of you for personally participating in this post-summer detox. It's a 3-day challenge designed to help to get your weight and health back in check after the summer. I call it the summertime madness because we are all still trying to get back on a routine after the summer months. And so I am super excited to host my third and final challenge for 2022. And I'm even more excited to have you join me on this epic ride as we, come to a close. We're coming to a close pretty soon in 2022. And so kudos to each and every one of you for not giving up on your weight goals, your health goals that you set most likely in January, like many of us do. And so it is not too late. It's never too late to restart, get back on the bandwagon, and to move forward. All right. And so before I share my personal weight loss and blood pressure journey, I have a quick question for you all, and just simply post yes or no. I will look at the comments. I know that this is recorded. I will look at the comments to see any questions and will reply to them. And so let me know if you've ever done a detox before, any form of a detox. If you have, post yes, and if you have not, post no, and name it, and feel free to name the detox that you have tried. There's so many out there, and so I'll be real interested in hearing, what detox type of a diet you have tried. And so the purpose of hosting challenges throughout the year, I do 3 every year, is directly tied to my passion for helping people become the best versions of themselves in a healthy and sustainable manner without taking extreme measures. Okay, that's really, 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 really important. And we have common goals. We want to get beyond our weight loss plateaus. We want our clothes to fit better. We don't want to go another size up. And ultimately, we want to bolster that confidence with while developing some life skills, okay, in the process. And when I say life skills, things that will stay with you the long haul. So when we have our ebbs and flows in life and we have our trials and storms of life, these tools still work. They still work. You may implement them a little differently, but they still work. It's such as the discipline to keep going even when it seems hard to keep going, and planning and things of that nature. So that's what this is all about, creating lifelong habits, okay? And so this is just to name a few. And so if you relate, simply post relate if any of this sounds relatable, okay? Because even I have to deal with the day to day and try to continue to be intentional about managing, okay, am I cooking, when am I prepping, making sure that I have things in place to where I'm not vulnerable to eating out all the time, or things, or starving, and then that turns into this big binge later. Okay. And so at the end of the day, I'm committed to helping people move forward with their weight loss goals, their health goals, and just simply to become successful. And that journey is different for everybody. There's no set pace, there's no set time, and there's no set approach. So it is different for everybody. And so I'm going to go over the agenda real quickly. So the agenda for tonight is I'm going to go over the pre-challenge assessment form that you all will receive soon. You probably receive it in the next day or two. And then I'm going to step through the guidebook. So if you do not have the guidebook with you, I would say pause this, get it printed out so you will have it on deck to take notes. And this is your roadmap for this 3-day journey that we're on, this 3-day challenge. And also it will include the schedule of events. So you'll know what days I'm going live and exactly what I am speaking about. And then I will share how the challenge will run. So there are daily check-ins. I love engagement. So I love it when people post photos, they post videos of preparing their foods, little reels. So that just makes it fun for everybody, and it gives tips for everybody else. The live trainings, and then the live trainings are available in the group, only in the Facebook group. So you will have access to them throughout the challenge. And then if there's any questions, definitely post your questions, and I will be monitoring, because I know this is the final weekend before we start the challenge. So this is the time that people will go shopping and things of that nature. So anything that pops up, do not hesitate to post, and I'm on deck to respond. So my story in brief. And so it really began in my early 30s, okay? And I was at the time I was at my highest weight and I was in denial about it. And then I was also my blood pressure was elevating, okay? So I'm like in my early 30s, my blood pressure's elevating, and I was advised to lose 20 to 25 pounds. And I was given this sheet of paper to say, hey, you need to cut your sodium. These are these foods that you should, avoid or be mindful of how you're eating them. And then see me in 3 months, and then we will decide if we need to start you on medication. So they were trying to give me a chance to handle it with lifestyle measures, but I was not a dietitian at that time, so I really did not know what that meant and what to do, and I was really in shock, to be honest with you, because my weight had not been an issue, and so I realized that I had gained about 15 pounds in a year because I got on the scale and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a big difference from what it was last year." So I had a big jump in weight, and it was a very slow gain. It was unnoticed to me. I'm sure other people noticed it, but it was unnoticeable to me. And I was just really in denial about the fact that I even needed to lose weight. And so I hemmed and hawed for 3 years trying to do it on my own. I was really focused on not getting on medications. I was determined to break the family cycle. I did not want to get on meds. And so I did what we all do. Back now it's a Google search. Back then it was just we get on the World Wide Web and I'm like, what do I need to do to lower my blood pressure? And at the time, nutrition information was not as readily available as it is now. So I did find what is called the DASH diet, which is one of the most top rated eating patterns still even to this day. And so it emphasizes fruits and vegetables and whole grains and low fat dairy and lean meat and things of that nature. So it emphasizes you eating around the plates, but of course it's going to point out more so the grains and the fruits and the vegetables because those are the things that help with blood pressure control. And the DASH diet stands for dietary approaches to stop to stop hypertension. And so I this really was an eye opener for me because it helped me to realize how nutrient poor that I was eating, even though I was not eating out regularly. I mean, of course, I did at the time I was single, no kids. So I was, doing my thing. But after I kind of read about this eating pattern, I was like, wow, I'm really eating nutrient poor and not really realizing it. And so I had to make a lot of changes to how I was eating and cutting back in some places and things of that nature. So I was able to stop the gain with this method, so that was a good thing. I was no longer gaining weight, but I wasn't necessarily losing weight either. And then I did see changes though. I did see changes in how I felt and my energy levels and like my hair and my nails were stronger. So I saw differences. My blood pressure, it was hit or miss. It was intermittent, but it wasn't consistent. Sometimes it was okay, sometimes it was low, sometimes it was high, and that was the problem. It was not consistently in an optimal range. And so again, 3 years passed, I'm still trying to figure it out, and I was not successful. One day I visited a dialysis center, and that really shook me up to see people hooked up on a machine for 3 to 4 hours, 3, 4 days a week, and what I learned by talking with the dialysis dietitian at the time was, most cases when a person's kidney fails, that's why when you're on dialysis, your kidneys no longer work, your body's not able to flush out all the toxins from the things that we eat, is through uncontrolled hypertension and or uncontrolled diabetes. And that just resonated with me, and I was in my 30s at the time, and that resonated with me. I'm like, "Wow, I'm being prideful, I'm being stubborn, I'm around here trying to fix this, and this is potentially what can happen to me 30 years later," you know? And so that's when I really was just like, "You know what? I need to get some help." And I worked with a dietitian, and this was really my first encounter with a dietitian, and I was on the right track as far as the eating part of it, as far as trying to incorporate more fruits and vegetables and things like that and whole grains. But the the dot that I was missing, what I was not able to connect was the calories and how much I needed in order to still accomplish eating more fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean meat and things of that nature, but yet able to lose weight. And so, what I was trying to accomplish in 3 years, she was able to help me accomplish in 3 months. And so, I was able to lose a little over 20 pounds in 3 months and life changing as far as how I felt and my whole mindset towards food. And but unfortunately, my blood pressure was still inconsistent. And so that's when it basically boiled down to genetics. And so what I learned from the dietitian was I learned skills that I still even use to this day that I revise and that I, based on the season that I am in my life, is it's great to lose it, but you need to know how to keep it off. And that is really what's important. You need to know how to keep it off and you need to know how to eat healthy and for your body over the years and through the different life stages that we go through. And so I was very disappointed when I had to just kind of say, all right, I got diagnosed with essential hypertension, and that basically means there's no known cause. It's genetics related. But I was very disappointed because I was like, man, I did what they said and it still did not work for me. And I considered it a setback as far as me having to take this pill and get this diagnosis. But after some time of being frustrated in this funk, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and was like, "Well, Sandra, had you not made the changes, had you not went through all this, you would have more health problems than what you have." Because it changed my life going through this because my whole eating patterns changed, my whole thought process changed, what I thought was important, all that stuff changed. And so it was a comeback because that was the motivation for me to go back to school, change careers because I'm like, wow, I don't want people to go through what I went through and to feel like um, that is a setback. A lot of times we have things happen to us and it's a warning for us to make a change. But the thing is, how we make that change is important. Always say, hey, if it's not working for you in 6 months, get help. Get help, whether that's a dietitian, whether that's a personal trainer, whether that's, whatever the situation is, get help because we're taking years off our life. And that's pretty much what I was doing at that time. So, and what motivates me, I went through a lot of life changes since then. I was single, no kids, so I ended up getting married, had a child, changed careers, went from corporate America to entrepreneurship. So I went through a lot of dynamics that I had to make adjustments, in how I ate and self care. And so those are the things and those experiences what I really share with my clients because that is real life. We have to deal with the ebbs and flows in life. How do we keep ourselves intact? And that's what's important. And what motivates me, and people ask, well, what keeps you motivated? Because it is difficult sometimes for me, even myself. And you all actually motivate me more than you ever would think that you motivate me. And like a current client that I'm working with, she, after a month and a half, she's off her oxygen machine. She has lost 19 pounds. She has less COPD issues. She's getting ready to have a sleep study to determine if they can take away her CPAP. Her fasting sugar levels were over like 200s, and now they are like under 100. Her blood pressure was sky high. And now it's normal. So these are things that say, hey, this is what keeps me in the game because it works. It works. And so and it's not extreme and it's natural and your body's not going to rebound, and things of that nature. But it is a lifestyle change. It is a behavior change. And we want to find a balance to where we're enjoying life, but yet we are still taking care of ourselves. And that's what it's all about. So hopefully that is inspiring, a very short snippet of my journey and just letting you know that because I'm a dietitian, it doesn't exempt me from stress eating, emotional eating, that desire, because I have to deal with all that as well and be intentional to not let it get out of hand, if I'm being transparent. And so hopefully that inspires you. If it does, say that it's, post inspired and that you're ready. You're ready to do this. And so this challenge is really just kind of like a springboard. It's the first step to kind of showing you something different. This is not about green smoothies. This is not just having salad. This is about having real food and different flavors and realizing and seeing how your body responds to that. And not just only from a weight perspective, but feeling better, your energy levels. And for some people, their inflammation improved. So you will be surprised at how quickly your body can respond. And so it's really empowering. So now you have this opportunity to do a reset, but it's about empowering you to have tools that last you long term and that can spill over to your families and things of that nature. Okay, so that's really one of my philosophies. Is I want to empower people so they'll know what you're reading and what you're seeing in the media is either skewed or not all that it's cracked up to be, or it doesn't take all that. When I mean it doesn't take all that, meaning you don't have to cut out 3 food groups in order to get the job done because now we're creating other problems when we do that. So that's really what it's all about, balance and just having the right knowledge and the right tools. And so let's talk about this pre-assessment form. So if there's any questions or comments, feel free to post as I'm going through this. And so this challenge, this assessment form that you will receive the next day or two are just short questions to set a baseline of where we are prior to starting the challenge. And then the information will help guide me in tailoring the training that we're going to have on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to the specific health challenges, goals, struggles that you all are having that are participating in the challenge. So I want to make it as as realistic and as meaningful for you all as possible. And so I ask that you complete it prior to the start of the challenge, and your name and your information will remain anonymous. So when I speak about different things, I'm not pointing out your names or anything. We're just because a lot of times you will see that we all share common challenges, and so that's really what it's all about. So if that is doable, please do that for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And so now let's move into the guidebook, and I'm going to talk about the guidebook and kind of highlights of what you're going to see and the shopping tips. Okay, plenty of shopping tips. So this is the good stuff. This is what you guys been waiting on. So break out your guidebook if you have printed it. Break it out, and it opens with the schedule. So, and I'm looking at it as well while I'm speaking about it with you all. So we're going to open up with the schedule, and it's going to break down the times that I come on, the days, and the topics. Okay, and so that is important. I hope I encourage you all to tune in live, even if you can't stay the whole time. If you can at least come out when you can, that is greatly appreciated because I love the engagement and I'd love to get the feedback from those who are participating. And then next, we are going to, you'll see a little introduction on why I put this challenge together and why it was created in the first place. And especially now, people have even more increased concerns about their health and weight-related illnesses. So this kind of gives a little summary of why I put this together. And then we will go into the meal plan itself. So you'll see the cover where it has this overnight oats on here, which is really good. And so we are going to, you're going to see a meal plan brief. And this is going to help you to navigate through the guidebook. Okay, it's going to give you some information on how to navigate through the guidebook. It's going to give some grocery shopping tips because I want you to use as much as you already have in your pantry already. And so, and where you're not buying everything, brand new. So hopefully most of the things you have already and you're not having to spend a lot of money. And then there's a prep guide in after the actual meal plan. There's a prep guide that can guide you through when to prep, when to put things together. So everything doesn't have to get prepared at one time. So some things can get prepared on the day of. Usually it just ends up being dinner that's prepared. A lot of the snacks and things like that you're going to do in advance. And so and what I will really want, one thing I want you to take away from this is the benefits of planning and prepping and being able to just grab and go and your food's already prepared. All you need to do is warm it up. So a lot of times people have challenges with I don't have time to cook or I don't have time to prep but this would hopefully give you a good insight on how beneficial it is once you put that time in on the front end, how much it saves you throughout the week and it prevents you from being vulnerable to eating out. All right, so after the brief, you will see a grid, okay? And this grid is showing the full week. So it's a nice kind of visual of you'll see all the food, how it's laid out over the course of the 3-day challenge. And so this is a nice little quick summary of everything that you will eat, okay, and what you will prepare. And so we will go into a little bit more detail on some of the recipes, and then you will have a grocery list. And so I encourage you before you even go shopping and put together your grocery list, online shopping, however you do that, is to look at this grocery list, cross off things that you already have, and then look at the individual recipe because each individual recipe has a note section and it will discuss substitutions in some cases. If you don't have this, you can use this. So in some cases, you can use the substitution. So I want your grocery list as short as possible. So go through those things and see if whatever you already have, you can automatically cross off your grocery list. And then if you don't see a substitution and you need an additional substitution for, maybe it's an allergy situation or something that you don't like, then definitely put it out there in the chat, okay? And I encourage you to put it out in the chat because usually somebody else is going to want to know the same thing or need to know the same thing, and then I can respond and everybody can see it. And so don't hesitate to reach out if you need a substitute for anything, okay? And let's see here. So let's talk about Sunday. Okay, so the challenge will begin on Tuesday. So you really have an option on when you can prep. You can do things on Monday. Sunday's a typical prep night for many people, but you can do it on Monday since we're really not starting on Tuesday. You can so maybe go shopping earlier so you don't have to do the shopping and the prepping all at the same time and the cooking. So you kind of gauge that based off of your schedule, okay? And so let's start with the cinnamon, yeah, apple cinnamon overnight oats. And so this is something that you will prep either the classic Sunday or you can do it on Monday. And so you got the oats, you got the tuna edamame detox salad, and you got the hummus dippers. So these are some things that you can prep Sunday/Monday, kind of depends because those are the things that you're going to have on day one. So you'll already have them all prepared. And then you can, as an optional time saver, you can also prep the soup as well. So let me look at you can also prep the soup as well in advance. So definitely kind of gauge your schedule to see, are you going to be able to do the soup in the evening when you come home, or would you prefer to have that already done in advance? Okay. And then also on Sunday/Monday, depends on how you want to handle that, you can do the breakfast cookies, the pumpkin breakfast cookies, as well. And you can have them already prepared, and then you don't have to worry about those, okay? And it takes about 45 minutes to prepare. It's like 15-minute prep time and a 30-minute baking time. So really, it's not a lot of work on the front end. It's more so the baking time. So again, think about how your schedule is flowing, and do you need to have breakfast like completely knocked out before the challenge begins, or you can do your cookies on Wednesday night or Thursday. So it just kind of depends on your schedule. Then we have our Monday meals. So our Monday, or well, not Monday, I'm sorry. So Tuesday, our Tuesday meal. And so you will have your oats. And I would say you don't need to add anything else additional to that. Okay. So you just eat it as is and you'll be good to go. Trust me, you'll be good to go until lunch. And then you have the edamame detox salad. If you don't like tuna, you can do chicken. So that is a substitute that you can do. If you have an allergy to nuts, because there's walnuts in this particular recipe, then there's sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds that will work, okay, if you have a nut allergy. And then you have the hummus dippers with the cheese stick. And so you feel free to mix up the veggies. If you don't want to do if you want all of it as the bell peppers, you can switch it up. Cucumbers, zucchini, so you can have it with any type of vegetable that you prefer. Okay, I would say opt for 2% natural cheese if you can find it. Sometimes you'll see 2% or reduced fat. So with dairy, it's always best to go low fat. Okay, with cheese, I usually say 2% versus light because it just depends on preference. But in that case, just really depends on preference. And then if you want another cheese substitute, there's Gouda, the Swiss. So any type of reduced fat cheese you like is recommended. Okay, and I recommend using so you have the 1%. You'll notice it has 1% milk on there. So I know a lot of people do almond milk and oat milk and all those kind of things. However, those do not meet the dairy requirement as far as servings for our needs per day, and it doesn't have protein in it. So you're going to lose some protein there, which may interfere with the satiety that you would normally get. So I recommend the 1%. So give it a try. And then soy is also another substitute as far as here's the order here. You can do 1% or fat-free milk. If there's a lactose intolerance problem, then fat-free 1%, lactose-free milk. And then if it's a milk allergy altogether, then that's when it's the soy milk. So that's kind of the true dairy where you're getting the nutrients as well as the protein as well and the benefits that you would get from a dairy. Then at dinner, you'll notice there's some kale chips. And so, again, you can save time cooking your squash in advance. And the kale chips are really nice when they're straight out the oven because they're nice and crunchy. And so if you need to, well, you will need to warm them up the next day. So what I like to do is I like to warm them up in the oven. I'm sorry, in the oven versus the microwave, just to give them that crunch factor. And then you have the popcorn, which should be a fun one. Feel free to do the 100-calorie bag of popcorn. You do not need to get an air popper if you don't have one and all that kind of good stuff. So it's perfectly fine to do the 100-calorie bag and then have this nectarine on here. But if you want to substitute for peach, then that's fine. Or if you want to substitute it for a whole totally different fruit altogether, then that's fine too. Okay. Alrighty, and so during the live, so I'm just going over day one. So during each live, I'm gonna go over the remaining meals for that day. So like we meet on Tuesday at 1:30. So some people are either eating lunch or they may have already had lunch, but I will go through the meals from lunch all the way to breakfast on Thursday. So you'll have information on some tips and tricks on what to do there. So a big question that I generally get, so any questions on that, definitely post and I will look for that information and I will respond to you. And so next is the timing of meals. Okay, so this is a very common question on how do you time these meals? Because you're going to notice on the grid, there's no times, it just has the meals. And so, of course, all this is going to be based off of your schedule. However, the general guidelines are for breakfast, have it within 2 hours of waking up. So, whatever time that is for you, within 2 hours. The sooner the better, but that 2 hour window is there for you. And then ideally, your meals, 3.5 to 4 hours. Okay. So, after you have your breakfast, kind of plan for lunch around 3.5 to 4 hours after that. And then, and strive to have lunch during lunch hours, typical lunch hours. And when I say that, I mean between 11 and 1. Okay, so when you start talking about 2 and 3, it's kind of later in the afternoon. So let's try to keep lunch around lunchtime, especially because now you're eating breakfast in the morning. And so we want to make sure that the timing, this is part of the process of helping you to keep your body fueled on a regular intervals so that your energy levels are sustained. You're preventing dips in your sugar levels, and that ultimately reduces the cravings and makes them more controllable, okay, if you even have them at all. So eat breakfast within 2 hours of rising, space your meals out around 3.5 to 4 hours, strive to have lunch between like 11 and 1-ish time frame. And then the snacks are generally designed to last about 1 to 2 hours. Okay, so you have one snack that you will see. Now, the morning snack is typically optional. So it just kind of depends on how early or how late your breakfast is. If you having breakfast at 6 o'clock and your lunch is not till 12, then yeah, you're gonna need to shift your that snack to in the morning. But if it's a, about a 4-hour window, then you typically will not really need a morning snack. But I always say you want to have your afternoon snack. That is mandatory. So around 3.5 to 4 hours after your lunch, have the afternoon snack. Have something because that is the bridge that's going to get you to dinner. And you don't want to go into dinner starving. Okay. So that's what you don't want to do. And so keep that in mind. And then typically, if you're in the bed within 3.5 to 4 hours after dinner, then you should be pretty good. So throughout the course of this challenge, listen to your body. Okay. If you are super starving, then maybe double up on a snack or something like that. Or sometimes people don't eat all the food at a previous meal, finish off the food. So just kind of let me know if it's something that is unbearable. We have a lot of extra cookies, okay, that we're baking. So maybe it may come down to eating a cookie, to help take the edge off, okay? So just kind of reach out to me and let me know so I can kind of help guide you through that because everybody's going to be different in that situation. Okay? Any questions on that? Post. So regarding timings of meals, if you have any questions, post how the challenge will run. And so the challenge, so we're going to have fun. It's designed to have fun, but yet you're going to get some valuable information that you can take away and use, okay, for years to come. And so we're going to have little daily check-ins. And so I love to hear how you liked a certain meal, how you maybe you didn't like it. Tell me about your grocery shopping experience, your cooking experience, your prepping experience. Let me know the good, the bad, and the indifferent. Let me know it all because if there's some challenges with prepping or challenges with something, let me know and share that because other people are probably having the same challenges. They're just afraid to speak up. So don't hesitate to say if something isn't working or something you're struggling with because that's reality. Okay, everything's not gonna go flow well. So we want to help you through that. And I love engagement throughout the live, so don't hesitate to comment, okay? Because we're all here to help each other out, okay? And let's see here, anything else? And so so you will see posts, actually, you will see posts for like different check-ins throughout the day. You'll see a morning post and you will to kind of talk about breakfast and maybe dinner the night before and stuff like that. And then you'll see an afternoon or evening post where we can kind of hit lunch and the afternoon snack to see kind of how that landed with you and to get feedback. Okay. And so I will go live every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 12:30 Eastern time. Okay. And so my goal is to keep it within 30 minutes, short and sweet, because most people are on the lunch break. And mark your calendar. So I encourage you to make yourself available, okay? Kind of carve that time for these 3 days to really involve yourself because when you're on live and you're engaged, it just makes the challenge experience even more powerful and even more meaningful when you are participating live, okay? And like I said, if you can't stay the whole time, that is great, but at least chime in for a little bit, and even if it's on the back end. So anytime between that window, 12:30 and 1, definitely try to log in and get a little bit of information. That's while I'm on live, okay? So this does conclude what I have. So any questions or comments, please post in this thread. Remember, this challenge is all about fun. It's all about having fun. It's about trying new foods, about trying new combination of foods, and enjoying your food while giving your body the burst of nutrients. Your body is going to thrive off this stuff, and you'll be surprised at how different you feel and how different things are at the end of day 3, okay? And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of getting back on track with your personal weight goals, your personal health goals, okay? So get ready for a different type of post summer detox, okay? And so I'm excited. I can't wait to get started and use this weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day as well as get your shopping done. And anything pops up, again, do not hesitate to reach out to me. And I thank you for listening and tuning in. And I will see you live on Tuesday. God bless.